Tonight, the 2019 USL Championship season kicks off in South Carolina as the Charleston Battery get set to host Ottawa Fury at MUSC Health Stadium for the very first match of the season. Hey everyone, we welcome you inside the broadcast booth for tonight's game. My name's Poppy Miller, alongside me Derek Broadley. And Derek, for both teams, they'll be looking to get off to the best start possible, and I'm sure for both coaches at this point in the season will be thinking that anything's possible. The player we want to keep our eye on for the visitors tonight, it's the captain, Carl Howarth.
Yeah, Howarth is a really talented midfield player and he gets involved in set pieces. You can see him here scoring a fantastic goal last year. Where he really adds value to this team though is with his leadership. He's been there a long time and he's really going to be one that's going to try and set the tone for this team for the season, and it starts here tonight.
He's the longest serving Fury player and was the first Canadian signing of the club. He played in 30 games last season and tallied 3 goals on the year. And speaking of goals, one of Mike Anhauser's players that's already off to a flying start, it's the striker, Ian Sponson.
Yeah, Ian had a fantastic pre-season event at the Carolina Challenge Cup, scoring in 2 of the 3 games, 2 completely different types of goals as well, a great header and a set-piece penalty. So he's really going to look to kickstart his career tonight with the Battery, and hopefully many more goals to come.
He started 12 of the 22 games he appeared in last season and finished the year with 4 goals on the season. We'll keep our eye on him tonight. Well, I managed to catch up with Mike Anhauser earlier this week to preview tonight's match.
Defensively, I don't think we have to tweak too much. It's going to be more who's available and who's healthy, which is good, but we have a good nucleus back, you know, goalkeeper and our back 4 and 5 guys we have with 2 rookies, and they've stepped up and did very well in the Challenge Cup.
Welcome back to Charleston, South Carolina for tonight's USL home opener, and we're absolutely thrilled to be bringing you the match tonight. Poppy Miller alongside Derek Broadley. Well, we are just minutes away from kickoff, so while we have a second, let's take a look at the first starting lineups of the season for Ottawa Fury. Let's take a look. There's Nikola Popovic on your screen there, just having a word with our referee tonight, Sergei Demonchuk. And then, of course, the boys in black and yellow, a clean slate for both these teams, Derek.
Yeah, this is a great time of the year, isn't it? Everybody's anything's possible right now. In that huddle now, you're thinking of what can take place in November, what's going to take place throughout the season. And here we go with the lineups. So we start off with the battery.
As you can see, Joe Kuzminski starts between the sticks tonight. Two newcomers tonight from Mike Anhauser's side make their debut for the black and yellow, AJ Patterson and Romario Pigot.
Yeah, no, a lot of familiar faces, but it's a new lineup, isn't it? It's a sort of like a 4-2-3-1, so that's going to be a change, and they'll bed that in. And now we'll look and see what they're up against now with Ottawa Fury.
There's the first lineup of the season for Ottawa Fury. We mentioned him in the pre-game, Carl Howarth. But who else are you keeping your eye on tonight, Derek?
Yeah, no, I think Ward in midfield is going to be someone that's going to look for. Francois out on the right's a new player. But I tell you what's going to be interesting tonight is the way the two teams shape up. It's going to be a very congested midfield with both teams going with the three in midfield. Obviously, Sponson is a big outlet for the battery up front. But all in all, I think the midfield, if you can win that tonight, it's going to be a big influence on the game.
There's the newcomer, Romario Pigot, on your screen. Number 8 tonight for Mike Anhauser's side. And for the battery players, Derek, you've got to say have had a fantastic pre-season with CCC and taking on these MLS opponents.
No, and you can see just from the size of the crowd now that people have come out to support the local players. Now they've had a great season and we're underway. And as I said, anything's possible right now.
You see the battery straight on the press, but picked up in the middle of the park by Ottawa Fury. Both these teams very defensively sound. Finished last season with 15 clean sheets. It's Higashi who takes the strike. No worries at the back for Monsalvi, who starts tonight for Ottawa. Of course, Maxime Crépeau, a standout season for him last year. So it'll be interesting to see how he does in between the sticks tonight with only one game played in 2018.
No, and he's had a good start there. That was a nice, comfortable save for him, wasn't it? It was a good strike, a good break by Higashi, and it was a sound save. So every goalkeeper needs that, and here's Kuzminski getting his first touch. So important to get a good first touch in the start of the season and the opening game. And you're thinking all pre-season about your first tackle, your first pass. Here we go with Rittmeyer down the wing.
Very back and forth in the early going. Rittmeyer loves to take people on one by one. Ops for Woodbine into the box. Sponson's there with the header straight through the back. And that was a fantastic chance for Mike Anhauser, striker.
Yeah, and great support play by O'Brien Woodbine there, wasn't it? It was a brilliant run, and Nico Rittmeyer is really good in one-on-one situation. It was a great little ball in, great cross, and Swanson, who's in a good vein of form right now with his goals, was very unlucky not to get on the end of it.
Jamal Dixon gets us back underway in the early going. Anunga dispossessed in the midfield. Francois gets his first touches on the ball. The Haitian comes to Ottawa from Pittsburgh Riverhounds, where he had a standout season, started 29 of the 33 games he appeared in, 4 goals and 5 assists on the season. He'll be one to watch up top tonight.
No, very much so. I mean, there's some dangerous players, and as I said, right now, every single player here is relishing this game. They've been waiting for it, they've worked hard, all those long runs they've had, and here we go.
Anunga looking for the through ball to Sponson. Well read out the back line. Woodbine now with the press.
And Woodbine's going to be an important player tonight. It'll be interesting to see if he can go the whole 90 minutes. With he's a senior player, but he's a very clever player. And, I'd love to have seen him play, earlier on in his career, because he really is a talented footballer. And it's a big night for this young man here as well, AJ Bolt, because he's got a J Bolt. Sorry, what am I saying? AJ J Bolt. He's taken another position. He's playing as a centre back. It's not his normal position, but he's shown how versatile he is, and I'm sure very much so that he'll do very well in that position.
Great flick on from Sponson. There's Rittmeyer on the run, the Savannah native, College of Charleston product. The battery looked to pick it up in the midfield. Patterson gets his first touches for the black and yellow. Anunga back to Muller. But as to your point, Derek, J Bolt sitting comfortably back there. He picked up a match for Taylor Muller in the back line with Leland Archer through Carolina Challenge Cup and held it quite nicely. Yeah. I mean, obviously he's vertically challenged, but here they go. Here's Francois. Muller with the pressure. Francois into the box comfortably. Ops for Howarth, but Patterson denies him.
Yeah, I was saying about J Bolt, he's not the tallest, but what he lacks in height, he certainly makes up with tenacity and the way he tackles and his own personality. So, it's not his normal position, but as I said, every position he's ever been asked to play, he's done it to the best of his ability, so there's no qualms there.
Atakora back to Meyer Jagir. Up to the top, here's Carl Howarth. The man that we mentioned in the pre-game, another versatile player for Nikola Popovic's side. Played all over the park last season for Ottawa. Tonight will unite with the front three.
And right now, both teams have started off positively. You know, they both had good spells of possession. They're happy to have the ball. And at this stage of the season, they should be. Every player should be full of confidence.
Chris Manila signed last March, earned his roster spot after showing his mettle as a trialist. Really was a key piece of the holding midfield. One of the top passers of the side. Will be looking for him tonight to connect to the trio up top.
Yeah, and these two teams are both defensively sound, aren't they? So, you know, it's one of them where we're going to see a load of goals tonight, or really good defences.
Walfall leads into the attack. Here's Howarth. Falls for him, and there's the goal. Opens the scoring, and it's the visitors. The first goal of the 2019 season here at MUSC Health Stadium, and it's Ottawa Fury on the score sheet.
Yeah, that's disappointing for the Battery there. It wasn't great defending. I'm trying to see who ran off, but Taylor Muller there got sort of dragged out the middle. He was faced one-on-one. It was just a little simple 1-2. It was a very cool finish, and Joe Kosminski really didn't have much chance. It was, I think, just outside the box. So, you know, not the greatest start. 5 minutes in, and you know, now it's not a mountain to climb. I mean, the game's very early, and they've shown some good signs now. But if you're the visitors now, you've definitely got something to hold on to, and makes your pre-season all worthwhile.
Well, it's not what Mike Anhauser wanted, but it is Ottawa to open the scoring. Ottawa have actually never beaten the Charleston Battery in the series. 4 draws, and the black and yellow took the final 5th match. And now let's see if Mike Anhauser's team can find a response.
Yeah, and I think here's the thing for me now. You know, sometimes, you know, goals change games, and now the Battery have to come out. They're going to open up their game. They have to be a bit more expansive in how they attack this game, and you know, their attitude now, especially with this change in formation. And I'm pretty sure now that they'll get the you know, a little bit of grip between their teeth. And Sponson there nearly just got in on the edge of the box there. So, you know, I don't think it's doom and gloom. It's a very early, long way to go in the game, and as I said, you know, this stage of the season, still all to play for right now in this first game.
Sponson couldn't quite bring it down. Monsalvi to get us back underway. The Canadian international, 6'2" goalkeeper. Like we mentioned, he was the club's #2 behind Crapo last season. But this is really his time to shine, especially in the home opener.
Yeah, and I'm sure all those minutes he travelled and sat on the bench will all be worth it now that he's got his starting spot, and he'll be looking as best he can to keep that spot throughout the season.
Ottawa with the possession, the long ball forward is there. Taylor Muller plucks it out the air. Walfall. Too much pressure from Nico Rittmeyer, and here comes a set-piece opportunity for the visitors.
Yeah, that's a bit of a, as I said, that's a bit of a clumsy tackle there. He got the wrong side, didn't he, Nico Rittmeyer? And you know, once he starts sticking his leg in, he was only going to commit a foul. And this is one of them things. I mean, what the Battery doesn't want to do is let this game get away from them very early with a silly second goal. You know, they've got to make sure now that they're on their mettle, they're defending properly. And Joe Kosminski's really got to take the lead now and really sort his back 4 out and make sure he knows what he's doing and get his distances right. And you can see now he's verbally taking command there.
Kevin Oliveira with the delivery from the far side. The referee just having a word with the back line in the box and pushing and shoving. But here comes the delivery. It's a good one to the back post. Well read by Kosminski.
That's a great rollout to Nico Rittmeyer, who's come down this left-hand side. And as I said, sometimes I like to see Nico Rittmeyer just taking a little bit more onus and driving into the opponent's half. He does it very well on the other side. And you can see straight away Woodbine's really taking an aggressive stance. He's really playing high up the field now. He loves to get forward.
Keep our eye on the wingers switching. A turnover. Here comes Francois. Francois out wide to Oliveira, who couldn't quite connect that pass.
I think he was trying to get a corner there, wasn't he? He was just trying to let a little nick off of Jay Bolt, and that wasn't going to happen. So straight away, you know, this is the beauty of the first game of the season. You know, straight away we've had a goal, so that's going to open up the game, and you know the fans have got, you know, have something to cheer about. And as I said, the home team now has got to come out and really prove to this big home crowd that they're up for the fight this season. So
Mike Anhauser's side will be looking to keep their streak of reaching the USL playoffs in every season of the league's history, the only club to do so. Of course, Ottawa Fury missed out on playoffs last season, but like we mentioned, Derek, the beauty of this game, an absolute clean sheet for the new season.
Yeah, no, players love it, coaches love it, commentators love it, don't we? Everyone loves this. You know, it's everything is possible and probable at this stage, and everyone can dream. You know, you don't. That's not the same way after 6 or 7 games in.
Nice challenge from Patterson. Here's a Pigot for Higashi. The Japanese veteran cuts inside. Fancy footwork, gets an applause from the crowd. Looking to get Sponson on the end of that.
Yeah, and that's what Higashi's all about, isn't he? You know, if he can have an influence on this game, he's neat and tidy. He's very tricky in and around the box. He's a good little dribbler, as he showed there. He can certainly get the crowd going with some fast feet, and he was very unlucky there not to get Sponson in.
Here comes the goal scorer from the 5th minute. Kevin Oliveira, the striker in the middle tonight for Nikola Popovic. Higashi enters his 3rd season with the Battery after paying his way to trials from Japan in 2017. Impressed Mike Anhauser at trials, and then of course became the Battery's newcomer of the year in 2017. Had a standout season last year as well, and a very agile player that loves to slip a ball through to the strikers.
Yeah, he links the game up really well, doesn't he? When he's on form, the Battery normally are playing very, very well, and as I said, it'll be interesting to see how he goes with this change of formation himself this year.
Muller goes back to Kuzminski, the Denver native who came through the Colorado Rapids youth system before attending UAB. He was the backup to the Cuban veteran Adisnal Cooper before really cementing his starting spot early last season. Woodbine for Higashi. Touch into the middle of the park, switches flanks. Here's Patterson. Positive touches from the newcomer out to Pigot. Looking to cut inside. The referee waves play on. Can Patterson get the negative? Forces the save out the back. It looks like that took a deflection, will be a goal kick.
Yeah, and I think Pigot there just landed awkwardly. I don't think it was the tackle. I think he landed on the back of his head, as you can see him holding it there. But great play by Patterson, was it? You know, a bit disappointing the delivery into the box. I think he probably should have cut it back, and if he had a chance, he probably would have done. But yeah, very positive signs right now. And you know, what's nice is Higashi's really having an influence on the game right early on, isn't he? He's got on the ball a few times. He's linked the game. Great switch of play just a moment ago. So all good signs for the Battery.
Fans Select is the official ball supplier of the USL Championship and many of the finest leagues around the world since 1947. Select had been the leader in soccer ball quality and innovation. For the latest Select products and special offers, please visit selectsportsamerica.com. Francois and Bolt head to head. Patterson picks up the scraps back to Kuzminski. Kuzminski giving his team time to get shape. Up to Patterson, and that's not really the ball you want out the back.
No, and it also puts him in trouble with the quick play now with these multiple ball boys and ball girls. You know, they can play quickly, so it wasn't the greatest ball out. But it's a good sign, though, that the Battery want to play out from the back. They don't just want to thump it downfield. So, you know, as I said, you'll always get a couple of little flaws at this stage. It's not going to be perfect game one.
Good flick for Howarth. Looked like he might have considered the strike there. Got caught in two minds, but here's Francois. Finds its way out to Dixon. Opts for the back line. Atakora for Obasi.
And Ottawa are stroking it around nicely, aren't they? They look very competent and confident, and you know they've had an extended period, I think, down in Florida doing their pre-season. So, you know, this warm weather won't bother them. I'm sure it's better here than where they are at home right now. But they look very competent, very confident. And as I said, it looks like it's going to be a great game tonight.
Beautiful conditions for a football match here in Charleston, South Carolina. About 70 degrees at kickoff in comparison to just about 30 degrees, 35 in Ottawa at the minute. Like you mentioned, they're coming in off a successful pre-season in Bradenton, Florida at the IMG Academy. But now the season really gets going. Sponson putting Monsalve under a bit of pressure.
He's doing that just to take the sting out of the game, isn't he? You know, just they'll try everything they can now just to slow the game up and make it difficult for the Battery to get back in. The Battery, the one that's going to have to inject the tempo into tonight's game now, particularly now they're a goal down.
The battle is on. The referee will give it in favour of the visitors. Jamar Dixon right in the middle of it. The Ottawa native enters his 4th season with the Fury. Started 24 of the 30 games he played in last year and was the Fury Player of the Year in 2017 after starting 32 of the 36 matches throughout his career, 2 goals. Also has overseas experience in Finland.
And the Fury traditionally, don't they go on the road a lot in the early stages because of the weather back home and stuff. So, you know, it's always it's always hard to judge where they're at in their season.
Here they are on the attack now. Well read out the back from the Battery, who will take it quickly. O'Brien Woodbine for Muller. Combines with the Jamaican veteran who opts for the long ball up the park. 6'6", Ian Sponson brings it down. Here's Nico Rittmeyer. Wolfall drops back in to help his team defend.
And Woodbine's got a great long throw, so you know if they do try and squeeze up the Fury, you know he can certainly throw it in behind them, and he can certainly pinpoint his, you know, when it's further down the foot, it's almost like a cross as well. But with a big target like Swanson, he can really, here we go again, get it into him.
Straight into the box, falls for Higashi at the top, almost too much power on it. AJ Patterson is knocking at the back door, delivers it back into the box, and the pressure isn't over. Candela takes the strike, and that one takes the deflection. Patterson will accept the throw. Candela does just enough as it was running away from him. A good challenge from Dixon, but that was already out, and here's going to be the first corner kick of the match for the Charleston Battery. It's going to be Vincenzo Candela to whip one in. We've seen his deliveries throughout Carolina Challenge Cup, and he's got a class corner kick on him. Yeah,
and then Swanson's a big target to hit, isn't he? He just has to stand there. They've already put a couple of men round him, and I think it's more the second ball that could be just as important tonight as it's whipped in. If someone can get on the second ball, if the first one doesn't go in, then it's a good chance.
It's a good ball in, punched away by Monsalve. Pigot picks up the second ball, returns to sender. Now here comes the second ball in, right through to the back post. Rittmeyer's there. Woodbine finds Higashi in space at the top of the box. The strike's there, the forward's there. Mario Pigot, the new signee for the Battery, makes it level. And here we go. The request to the championship begins now for Mike Anhauser's side.
I think the referee's going to go over and just have a word with the linesman. I think there's a little bit of doubt there. I think what they're saying is that the first phase he was certainly onside. Let's see what the referee gives. No, he's given offside.
Let's have another look at this. Romario, right place, right time with the follow-up, but the goal will not count. And you can see the referee there giving a free kick, a goal kick, sorry, to Ottawa. And we'll be back underway.
I think he's given the offside, isn't he? What he said is as the ball's come across, as Higashi said it, he said he's just got the wrong side. And that's not pleased the crowd or the fans, and the smoke bombs now will have to be taken back. So again, it's very difficult for us to see from this angle, but the linesman certainly was in line.
The referee just having a word with a couple of Battery players. Woodbine and Muller, the two veterans. But the decision has been made and it will remain Ottawa with the 1-0 lead. And the referee tells us to get back underway. But despite the goal not being allowed, Derek, it's still got to put a bit of wind under the Battery's sails.
No, and you saw the response from the crowd. That's definitely going to get them, raise the tempo now. And now it's game on, isn't it? Now, both coaches are well into it. Mike Anhauser's, getting in at the officials, and Popovic now is trying to get. He was really screaming at his goalie to get on with it, so that we can move on to the next stage. But now, the tackles will start flying in. Now we got game on. Season started. Here we go.
Here's Francois. Couldn't get heads on it. AJ Patterson gets it away. Pigger into the middle of the park. Candela picks up the loose ball, finds space with Woodbine. Cool and composed from the MLS veteran. Candela lifts his head up. Long ball up to the top. It's Higashi. Higashi created several chances so far in this early going.
Yeah, he's a threat. Once he gets on the ball, and Anunga, he marshals the back four, doesn't he? Just in front there, him and Candela, they just sit there and just screen everything off. But again, you got good pace in the Mario Pigo. You got Rick Meyer, he's got good pace. So yeah, it's gonna. They've got multiple ways they can attack this Ottawa defence. And as I said, the response from the crowd has given everyone a little bit of a lift here.
Fans, you can follow the Charleston Battery and the rest of the USL Championship all season long at ESPN Plus, home to the USL, MLS, UFC and more. Join over 2 million sports fans who have already discovered ESPN Plus and watch the championship live every week. Sign up today at espnplus.com. Wallfall in the middle, Anunga comes strolling in. The referee just making sure everyone is okay below. Kevin Oliveira, who took that challenge, like he just knocked him in the back.
Yeah, and he'll take. I mean, as I said, they probably need this, don't they? A little bit of gamesmanship here. They'll just make sure he stays down that little bit longer, just to try and take the wind out of the sails for the Battery. Here we go. He's fully committed there, Anunga, as he's definitely gone through the back. It's a foul. And the referee's seen it. You can see he's come through.
Everybody up and okay below us. And here we go, back underway. Atakora across the back line. Charlie Ward dropping in there from the midfield. The Englishman from Redditch signed just this year in January, after spending last season with San Antonio, one of the key components of their midfield. Over 4,000 minutes of league play since 2016. And I'm sure Nikola Popovic will be looking for him to be a mainstay on this side. Here's Romario Pigo again. Numbers aren't in his favour. Goes back to Higashi. Top of the box, it's Anunga. Woodbine running in at the back post. Is he going to be offside? Yes, he is. But an absolutely fantastic ball over the top nonetheless.
Yeah, and again it shows O'Brien, Woodbine's ability to get forward. He's just got to be a little bit cued to there, isn't he? He's gone a little bit too straight, a little bit too early. But again, good play by the Battery down this left side. Pigo looks like he's very good at running with the ball, doesn't he? Patterson wants to get forward, so you've got two fullbacks that really want to get forward now. And as I said, certainly very different to what we saw last year with the front three always pressing. That's a little bit different this year. And both styles look like they can create goals.
Here's the captain, Howarth, into Francois at the top of the box. Finds space on this near side for Jamar Dixon to join in the attack.
Ottawa are a lot more patient in their build-up, aren't they? They get into good forward positions, but then they recycle it, bring it back round. They're not in a hurry. They've got their goal in front. But I think it's a strange way, because they get into some really good positions and they could really go at the Battery and see it, because a second goal would make a huge difference in this game, especially this early on. But they're happy to knock it around, they're happy to move it, and sometimes I think that gives impetus to the home team just to really go in and try and find the ball.
Well, if you're just joining us, the difference in today's match so far, Kevin Oliveira in the 5th minute putting the visitors on the score sheet. Kuzminski, lofty ball out the back. Nicely picked out the air from Dixon. Here's Anunga for Pigot. Sprays it around the park. Tarboro and Anunga led the battery in interceptions and tackles. Really the unsung hero of this side.
No, he is. He's a very talented footballer. As I said, he's an all-action pack defender. He's an all-action pack midfield player. He can play up front, I'm sure. You know, it's a great pass through.
Took a deflection before finding the feet of Sponson. Patterson looking for a ball quickly to keep the momentum going. It's a good ball for Sponson if he can get on the end of it. Ian Sponson sliding to keep it in bounds, but it will just run away from him.
Yeah, and sometimes I think Swanson's just got to let balls come into him. He's a big target player. He's good at receiving it. He's got to get better at receiving it rather than turning and chasing and bring others into the game. Good supporting runs from the likes of Higashi and Pigot and just bring them into the game that way. He doesn't really want to be turning and spinning in behind, and you know, he should play to his strengths.
Here's Monsalvi. He's called up to TFC as an injury relief player during their inaugural MLS season, and still to this day was the youngest goalkeeper to ever play in MLS. Like we mentioned, didn't get many matches under his belt last season, playing second string to Crepeau, but will make the start tonight for Coach Popovic. Dixon, long ball over the top. Patterson intercepts. Swanson just loses his footing. Atakora watches it to safety. And this game's had good momentum so far, commentators Kuyas, as Monsalvi just puts one into the stands below us.
No, and that will give the battery hope there, won't it? Because, as I said, the first time he's really been put under pressure, and his kicking ability lost him there. And as I said, that's always good signs for a club and a team that's really trying to put pressure on the goalie.
There's the Jacksonville native Jay Bolt back to Kuzminski. Opts for the ground ball out the back, Candela. Another one who enters his second season for Mike Hanhauser's side. Started 15 of the 18 games and ranked very highly in the midfielders' statistics last season.
And it's a big delivery now for the keeper now. Can he deal with the second one?
Higashi with the pressure. And the battery get the possession back.
Patterson looks very comfortable, doesn't he, at fullback? He looks very athletic, you know, looks like he's good on the ball, and you know, he looks like he's a find there.
Howarth and Anunga going at it. Here's Francois. Takes a step, looks for Howarth in the box, who takes a strike, but Kuzminski is there. And no worries for Mike Hanhauser's keeper, who plays it out quickly.
And that was a great ball as well out by Joe, because it wasn't just a very routine stop, but he also set the attack going, and that's a bit of a loose one there by Anunga. It's very unusual for him to do that. But you can see straight away there, little, you know, Pickett does want to get forward, and he's just got to be a little bit careful. You know, when you've got fullbacks that want to go forward, it's great, but sometimes you do leave little gaps in behind that other teams can exploit, so they've just got to be mindful and get the balance.
Here's Dixon looking for Francois to attack this flank once again. This time a fantastic challenge out the back by Bolt. And the battery will win a free kick.
Jay Bolt's fully committed, isn't he, into that tackle when he goes. He timed it very well. He just waited and waited and waited and then pounced.
And of course, we mentioned we normally see Jay Bolt out on the flank or as a wing-back, but done very well tonight in that centre-back position.
Yeah, there he was there, fully committed into the challenge, wasn't he? He waited, and then he just threw himself into it and timed it perfectly.
A good ball from Kuzminski for Svanteson. Meyer Giguère clears the trouble. Muller under a bit of pressure from Howarth.
He dealt with that really well there, didn't he? It was a great play by Muller. Took it on his chest really cleverly and then got it back to his goalkeeper.
Francois assesses his options, goes to Oliveira. Manila.
What young players can gain from this first 30 minutes in the season is how much work has gone into the pre-season that the game can be played at this tempo. It's a really good tempo, isn't it? Both teams are coming at it. So you can see they've done hours on the training field. They've done hours in the, on their fitness and game speed. And, yeah, it will take them a couple of games to get fully into the season, but the game's been played at a real tempo. Maybe the last 10 minutes may change, but right now it's like a mid-season game, and the temperature certainly helps down here.
And fantastic for Ottawa, of course, to be able to train outdoors in some warm and humid temperatures in Florida. A lot of Canadian teams struggle to even get outside on the pitch at this time of the year.
Yeah, no, with the the development of AstroTurf and indoor AstroTurf and field turf or whatever name you take, they can still train and work on their tactical stuff, but there is no substitute to playing on grass in good weather. And I'm sure we'll have some rainy nights, we'll have some cold nights, we'll have some really hot nights, so that's what the season's all about.
Munga back to Bolt. Ottawa slowly creeping up with the press. Pigot for Patterson. Can things open up down this wing? In for Higashi. Again, nice footwork from the Japanese veteran. Woodbine on the other side now. A good ball in for Rittmeyer. Outside the box. Returns. Here comes the delivery. Just maybe overcooked it. Pigot keeps it in nonetheless. And here comes a battery throw in. Derek, let's see if they can make something of this.
Yeah, let's see. Pigot looks like he wants to take the throws, and if he can try and he can create himself some 1v1s, he's left it to Patterson. They just need to try and get some little 1v1 situations out here, and I'm a great believer in not having too many people around the throw, and in that way it gives you more space. Every time you bring a defender in or an attacker, it's another player.
Here's Patterson. Got a nice flick on from the newcomer. Nobody on the keeper.
Yeah, no one really read that one. It was a nice little move.
Fans, who's up, who's down? Where does your club sit? We'll find out every Monday in the official USL Championship Power Rankings, only on uslchampionship.com. And of course, in this point of the season, every game really, the teams that want to stay at the top of the table, and every team wants to get off to a flying start.
No, I think when you're at home, the onus is always on you, isn't it? You want to win your home games, but the Battery have proved in the past they didn't win the home opener last year, and they still went on to get a playoff spot. It's not the end of the world. As I said, there's you need to look at it when you're 5-6 games in, not after the first game.
The Battery opened the regular season to FC Cincinnati for the past 3 years, but of course they are in MLS now, but in a way they still did with FC Cincinnati being one of the members at Carolina Challenge Cup. And of course for the Charleston Battery had successful scrimmages to follow to conclude their pre-season against Coastal Carolina and the College of Charleston. And we had a great chance to look at everybody there on that pre-season stage.
No, it was great, and as I said, people don't realise how important those games are. Players to get minutes into the legs, and as I said, it all culminates here in the opening game of the season. And as I said, the game's been played at a real good tempo right now. Again,
it falls for Higashi, who creating an opportunity. Very agile, goes back to Anunga. Anunga runs into traffic. Walfall with the pressure. And Candela finds the feet of his captain. Woodbine. Looking for Anunga, but he'll take the throw quickly. Here's Tarbran. Anunga with the delivery. Sponson couldn't get contact with it. And now could this be a breakaway? It's going to be a free kick instead. Vincenzo Candela with the challenge on Walfall. Woodbine getting involved below us.
It was a foul, and I think the referee sent him away. He sees it. He's not going to take any action there. That's good refereeing, I think. I think Brian Woodbine should know better than that. He's a senior player. He doesn't need to go in, but he needs to go in and calm it down, not flare it up. But as I say, Taylor Muller's gone straight in there. Great old captain that he is, and he sorted that out. Referee's done well there. It was a late challenge. It was a foul. And, you know, I'm sure the referee will have a little word. There you go, he's having a little word. But, you know, maybe 3 or 4 games into the season, that's a yellow card. But, you know, very good referee in there, I thought. Not sure the coach Popovich agrees, but...
He's down below us, having a word with the 4th official. We're going to be back underway. Monsalvi out the back. Straight up into pressure for the Battery. And Bolt returns the long, lofty kick. Charlie Ward in the middle. Good ball out. It's Francois. Francois one-on-one with Patterson. Pigot coming in for backup. Back to Dixon.
And there's another situation now. You know, I think Francois, I'd like to see him go at the defender and, you know, see how good Pigot is, but he doesn't. They recycle. They're quite happy just to do it, and then, you know, then they give possession away cheaply, really. So they had a really, like, advantage there to try and go at the Battery and put them under pressure, but they sort of recycle it back out, and then they give something away cheaply. So I think that's something that could come back to haunt them later.
But you've got to say, Francois and Oliveira pairing quite nicely up top together so far.
No, they'll be very happy with their contribution so far.
Jamar Dixon with the throw for the visitors. Up to Oliveira. Falls just through. Did that take a touch? No. It'll be a goal kick for Kuzminski. Well, Derek, with about 10 minutes to go, what are your thoughts on the first half so far?
You know, the Battery have definitely getting used to this new formation, and, you know, they've had some very good moments. You know, I think they're a bit unfortunate to have the goal disallowed. You know, the fullbacks are definitely going to be a big part, as we see this now, Woodbine like moving down the side. So both sides, him and Patterson, are both going to have a big feature there. If you're Ottawa, you've got your goal, haven't you? You know, you probably a little bit against the run of play, but you've got your goal. You've got something to defend now. As I said, I'd like to see them be a little bit more adventurous. Francois, you know, out wide, and see if he can, you know, create another chance or another goal and hit. But no, I think if you know, both coaches will be fairly happy. Obviously, the Battery not with the score, but certainly with the performance to date, and all signs are good. I think if they could get a goal before half-time, I think it would really lift this home crowd and get everyone going. But you know, right now, Ottawa Fury are really working hard to prevent that.
Candela, 2 assists on the season in 2018. He stands over the dead ball. You can tell he's going to whip one into the box. Ottawa not taking any chances. Everybody back to help defend. It's into Anunga, who takes the strike, and it's pattered away at the back by Monsalvi.
Yeah, it wasn't the greatest ball in. You could see what he was trying to do, Candela, but it wasn't the greatest one. But, you know, Anunga's took a great touch out his feet there, and it was a great strike, hit the target, making the keeper make a save.
Let's see what Candela can do with this outswinger. Bolt, the last man defending. Woodbine sitting just in front of him, but the man to keep your eye on, Sponson on the goalkeeper in the box. And here it comes, the delivery. The outswinger, it's in and runs straight through. The Battery got to get numbers back behind the ball now. Could this be a chance for a counter-attack? Francois cuts into the middle. Higashi misses the challenge. Oliveira does enough to keep it in bounds. Can he get the delivery in? He'll opt back for Dixon. The Battery well transitioned now into defend.
I think Ottawa let them off the hook there again. You know, they've got a great breakaway. There's a lot of disorganisation coming back from your attacking corner. And they had a ball in a wide area where they could just whip one in and take a gamble, but they opted to sort of keep possession, work it back, and be a lot more patient again. I'm wondering whether that could come back to haunt them later on. They've got into some great situations and they haven't really taken advantage of them.
Well, fall for Charlie Ward in the middle. Dixon again very busy down this flank with Francois.
You know, this is a big feature of their game. I suppose they are away from home, aren't they? They've got their goal up. They just want to keep the ball, take the sting out of the game. So it's a good tactic, but as I said, when you get into really good wide areas and good positions, you know, you should really take advantage of those.
Patterson Up for Sponson, who brings it down nicely for Pigot. Dixon just showing his experience there. His 4th season with the Fury. Oliveira battling with Candela, breaking away. Chris Manila forward. Good combination play from the visitors. Here comes Francois. And again, like you said, he's just not going for that one-on-one.
No, maybe, you know, later on in the season that will start to come in and it will start to go. Is it Pigot here's got, has he got a problem with his boot, or is it, it looks like it's a problem with his boot.
Looks like he's going to ask to change his boots below. He's taking his sock off, actually. Could this be an injury he's picked up? There's Bobby Weisenberger from MUSC Health taking fantastic care of the players, as he always does. One of the mainstays here at the Charleston Battery, along with Mike Anhauser, the head coach, who celebrated his 25th anniversary at the club. And when you think of the Charleston Battery, it really is hard not to think of Mike Anhauser.
No, he is Mr. Battery, isn't he? I mean, you know, lucky enough we get to see him, you know, almost every day and chat with him and hear how well they've done. But, you know, as I said, he marshals his teams very well. He organises the team. He's a great spotter of talent, you know, through the trial process. And, yeah, he puts out teams that can compete every year in, year out. So, yeah, he does very, very well.
I'm sure he'll be happy with how his 2 new signees are playing tonight. AJ Patterson and Pigot making their debuts for the Charleston Battery in USL play.
Yeah, no, both of them have done well. They both look very good additions to the squad. As I said, they, you know, see AJ Patterson really likes to get forward. Pigot's really dangerous on the ball. So, no, I'm sure there'll be plenty more for them. And then we've still got a few more to come as well. Zico Lewis, hopefully will playing soon. So, yeah, things are looking good.
Couple of new faces for Mike Anhauser and for the Ottawa Fury, who return 11 players and sign many new faces who have also been making their impact tonight. Here's one on the ball now, Wolfall. Dispossessed by Nico Rittmeyer. The referee waves play on. Anunga, Akers in the middle. Across to Patterson. Short ball for Pigot. Nice footwork from the newcomer, who drops one into the penalty spot. And Sponson can't get on the end of it. A foot race now. Howarth with Muller, 2 very well-established players.
Yeah, no, that was a good foot race there, wasn't it? But Muller, you know, uses experience and just gets his body in front. And, you know, he's not blessed with unbelievable pace now, but, you know, what he lacks in pace, he certainly has in knowledge.
Battery enjoying a nice spell of possession as we're a couple of minutes away from half-time. Anunga delivers one to the top of the box. Mayer Giguère out the back. And this time it will be a free kick for Ottawa. Let's see if we can have another look at that.
Yeah, I think the one weapon the Battery haven't really got going is Nico Rittmeyer right now. He's got a lot more to offer. He's very good one-on-one. You know, we'll probably come back to this free kick here, but the Battery, you know, down at, you know, Woodbine's definitely got forward early, but he's got beyond Rittmeyer way too often for me. I think Rittmeyer needs to get into the game a bit more and start to go a little bit more 1v1 himself, because he's very dangerous. He's got great pace and he's a good deliverer of crosses. So, you know, that's something that hopefully we'll see a little bit more of as the game wears on.
Manila up and okay below us, the product of TFC Academy, where he joined in 2009, then became the captain of the senior academy. Like we mentioned, earned his place on this roster coming through the trial system. Woodbine picking up some pace. A good ball for Rittmeyer. The Battery looking to work it into the box and couldn't quite connect.
And there's a situation there again. I thought, you know, Rittmeyer gets the ball in advance of Woodbine and he could probably go at the defender one-on-one, but right now he's too happy just to keep dropping it back. You know, he's got a lot more to his game than that. And I hope if we can get some more of that in the second half, you know, he can start to show people what he's about.
Woodbine for Rittmeyer. Meyer Giguet all the way home to his keeper. Dixon just trying to redirect that through for Francois.
And your first half-time team talks as coaches is always a difficult one, because you don't want to overload the defenders with information. You want to try and be specific to the game that you're playing in rather than to what you've been doing all pre-season. So both coaches have got important team talks to come. You know, probably more so from Mike Anhauser. You know, he's got to get his troops trying to get some more end product. But Popovic will also be there. You know, he'll be very happy with his team's possession. Maybe he'll instill a little bit more about maybe taking a few more risks now that they've got the goal up. But yeah, two very interesting times for coaches, and something that can change games. So it'll be important to see what both coaches are thinking, and you know, if tactically they come out and change the game, or even just moving a player here or there just to see if they can get a difference in the game.
The Battery desperate to break through that back line. Woodbine for Sponson, who brings it down. Led one on for Higashi, and it just hit the side netting. Well, I'll tell you what, Derek, from here, that looked like it almost went in.
Yeah, I think you can see what he tried to do. He just tried to lift it over. Great play by Sponson, won it on the edge of the box, took it down and slipped a nice little ball in. And Higashi there, you can see what he's trying to do. He's just trying to lift it over the keeper, and he just hasn't quite got his angles right. Look, he's just done everything right, just couldn't get it into the goal. So that would have been a nice little half-time lift there if they could have got that through.
An extremely agile player, the Japanese veteran. Well, as you can see on your screen there, there'll be a minimum of 2 minutes added on to the first half here in Charleston, South Carolina. It's Poppy Miller alongside Derek Broadley. Thank you so much for joining us for tonight's match, wherever you are, and a very warm welcome to all those joining us from Ottawa tonight.
Yeah, I think it's been a great game first half, isn't it? Everything's, you know, we've had everything, haven't we? We've had some good tackling, some good battles. We've had a goal, had a couple of good saves, and yeah, it's been something for everyone so far.
Bassi on the far side to get its team back underway. Howarth returns to sender, takes a touch inside. Obasi still looking to drop one into the box. He'll take the corner instead. And now does come an opportunity for the visitors. And of course, it's going to be Carl Howarth to take it. Well, we had a look at him in the pre-game show, Derek, and we know he's got a fantastic delivery. It's going to be an outswinger, and this is a real chance for Ottawa.
Yeah, he's got a great right foot, and he's going to ping this one in and see what they get.
The referee is just going to have a word with everybody in the box.
This has almost become the norm now, isn't it, in soccer? You know, when you get a corner kick or a free kick, and there's, you know, everyone's in tight proximity to each other. The referees come in and watch it very, very closely.
Here's the delivery. It's Howarth. It's a good one, punched away by Kuzminski. And now Anunga will work it out the back. But that is going to be all from the first half here at MUSC Health Stadium. And it's the visitors that head into the locker room 1-0 up at the half. Well, if you Mike Anhauser, what do you think will be the message to the team?
No, I mean, he'll be very happy with what they're doing going forward. He'll be disappointed with the early goal. But as I said, I think it'll be more of the same. Let's go out there. As I said, individually, maybe Nico Rittmeyer might want a little bit more from him. But by and large, keep knocking at the door and something will come out. I don't think there's too much wrong with how they're playing. And I'm sure he'll try and keep it as positive as he possibly can.
Kevin Oliveira, the difference in the 5th minute. Well, we're going to take a break. Join us for our halftime show. And when we come back, we'll take a look at some first half highlights. It's all coming up after this.
Defensively, I don't think we have to tweak too much. It's going to be more who's available and who's healthy, which is good, but we have a good nucleus back, goalkeeper and our back four and 5 guys we have with 2 rookies, and they've stepped up and did very well in the Challenge Cup. The biggest thing is our offensive side. You always defended, and we defended well in the Challenge Cup. We played 3 great teams that are ticking and have a lot of experience, and now we need to improve on that offensive end. We want to create more chances. We want to create more goals, and we want to try to do that because we have some exciting players up front, and I don't think we were able to showcase that as much, but it's natural because of where they are in preseason and where we were. But in our last 2 preseason games and scrimmage, the guys scored goals, and it was good to see, and it always gives you that bit of confidence. They're a very sound defensive team. We know that. They added a couple pieces on the wing, Francois from Pittsburgh, to try, I think, boost their offensive end. And defensively, they're going to be sound. They might come in here and sit back and try to counterattack. They did it when we played at home. They didn't really do it at their place because they needed to win. It was a different game. But it's a new team. It's a new season. But they're going to be sound defensively. And even today, we worked on getting it into the offensive end. We have to move the ball quickly but sharply and create those chances. It's going to be very exciting. I think we have the pieces to, we're shooting to score more goals, and I think that's the biggest thing for us, especially at home.
Good locker room vibe we have going. Obviously, team's still getting put together and everything. There might be some changes here or there. But the locker room vibe's really good. Everybody's getting along well, and we're looking forward to the first game. And at home here, over my 8 years, I think I can count on one hand the amount of losses we've had. So, that's what it means to us. We want to give our fans a good game, and we want to give our fans a win.
What does it take to be a champion? Skill, strength, vision, an unrelenting desire to prove your worth week in, week out. An army of fans behind you screaming your name. And sometimes just a bit of luck. For 631 games over the course of the next 9 months, 22 players will step on the field to answer the question, why will it be you and not them? And of 36 teams, from the champions of yesterday to the challengers of tomorrow, only one will be right.
The Charleston Battery concluded another successful preseason after hosting their 15th Carolina Challenge Cup. They welcomed FC Cincinnati, Columbus Crew and Chicago Fire to play in a round-robin style tournament right here at MUSC Health Stadium. Columbus Crew came in as reigning Carolina Challenge Cup champions after winning the trophy in both 2017 and in 2018. They were victorious again, concluding this preseason with their 3rd consecutive trophy and their first under head coach Caleb Porter's lead. It was Ian Sponson, the standout for Mike Anhauser's side after scoring a goal in each of the opening 2 matches. Ian started 12 of the 22 matches he appeared in last season for the Black and Yellow, tallying 4 goals and 3 assists. Captain Taylor Muller enters his 8th season with the Battery and is confident with the start this team has had to the 2019 season.
It's a good locker room vibe we have going. Obviously team's still getting put together and everything. There might be some changes here or there, but the locker room vibe's really good. Everybody's getting along well, and we're looking forward to the first game, and hopefully can get 3 points in a shutout to start off the 2019 year.
Well, that just about wraps things up heading into week 1 for the Charleston Battery. I'm Poppy Miller. Welcome back to MUSC Health Stadium. It's half-time here between the Charleston Battery and Ottawa Fury. But while we have a second, let's take a look at the Charleston Battery's schedule in the next upcoming weeks, because they will take on a new addition to the Eastern Conference at home next weekend.
Yeah, Hartford Athletic come here for the first time, and this is one of the great things about the league expanding rapidly at the moment and bringing all these new teams into the division. I think, Hartford's going to come here. They've got a real enthusiasm about the club. They're playing against one of the more established clubs in the league, so they're going to be really looking forward to this visit, and I hope they'll bring a lot of fans down with them. But a real good game and something for the home fans to look forward to, because it's a brand new team.
And the following week, the Battery will hit the road to take on North Carolina FC, followed by Charlotte Independence. And always fantastic when you play in North Carolina to get those travelling fans with you.
Yep, the creation of local derbies, and this is as local as it gets for the Carolinas. Having 2 games like this back-to-back is something that the fans are going to love, and it's really going to set the tone for all 3 of these clubs to see where they're going to go in the season. Because derby games are different, it gives the fans a chance to get a lot more engaged because they can travel from venue to venue, and it makes the games a lot more intense. So the players rise to the challenge, the coaches really want to get bragging rights. So this is something that's really bringing soccer to the homes of people in America and really building the passion that's growing this game.
The following week, the Battery will take on Bethlehem Steel, and then, as you can see there, Nashville SC, which will be a huge one. Some fantastic matchups against them last season, and of course for them, their last year in the USL Championship before moving up to MLS. A big year for them.
Huge year. They'll want to do what all the other clubs do, don't they? They want to finish off their USL campaign, with a really strong finish and a really good presence in the league. They're going to have a target on their back. Every team they play is going to want to win and beat a potential MLS team. So every game they play is going to be like a cup final. And I think when they come to MUSC Health Stadium, or we go there, there's going to be no different. So they're going to have to really focus and make sure they have a strong campaign. And this will be a game that everyone's looking forward to play.
Always a fantastic meeting when the Holy City meets the Music City. Well, let's take a look at the new teams that are joining the Eastern Conference this season, and which team there stands out to you, Derek?
I think the Birmingham Legion FC, again, it creates another rivalry to cut along with that. So that's the one that stands out for me personally.
Well, there you have it, the new teams joining us. We're going to take a quick break, but when we come back, we'll have second half action from MUSC Health Stadium. It's up next. Welcome back to MUSC Health Stadium in Charleston, South Carolina. It's halftime here between the Charleston Battery and Ottawa Fury. The teams are out from the locker room, so while we have a second, let's take a look at some first half highlights because several chances for either side, Derek.
Yeah, no, it was a real strange game when it started off with this goal, very early on in the game. The Ottawa team, they broke free. They had it was a bit scrappy. The ball was there. And then eventually the Battery started trying to dominate. And really the goal came against the run of play. Here it is now. Oliveira does a little 1-2 with Howarth. It's a great little reverse ball through, finds a gap, and it's a really good finish, because Minchy's got no chance. But what that did is it sort of lit a firework, really, if you like, underneath the Battery, and they came out and they had a good chance. And, they'll very much complain about the goal that was chalked off that we're just about to see here, where it's a great shot in, and I think Pigo just got a little bit caught offside, and again our angle can't say, and I'm sure people in the stadium are really running. And then his last one here, where Higashi just had a little one, he done everything right and just couldn't find the net. So limited real good chances, but as I said, it's been a fantastic game so far. Played at a great tempo, and we'll see if that can be sustained in the second half, being this first game of the season.
That was Higashi just before the break. Well, we talked about what Mike Anhauser's locker room halftime talk might have looked like. But if you're Nikola Popovic below us, what do you think his message to the team was?
Well, he'll be very happy with the result, and he'll be very happy with the performance. As I said, they've got into some great positions and then recycled the ball. So maybe he'll tell them to be a little bit braver in the final third. But he'll certainly want them to be as tough and as resilient as they've been throughout the whole of the first half. And they've looked very composed when they've had possession as well. So he'll definitely want more of that. And as I said, right now, his team don't have to score another goal right now. They can just defend it out. But as I said, it's this early season. He'll be looking for all sorts of other things in his team's performance rather than just, trying to win this game now. He's probably put a lot of information into him over the pre-season period.
And Bassi, the Englishman, gets us back underway below us. Muller under some pressure from Howarth at the back. Very high ball out. Higashi doesn't have the height advantage on that one. And the ball fall just knocks it out of bounds.
Yeah, it's been a bit of a hot potato there the first couple of minutes. He's been all over the place, hasn't it? And as I said, hopefully the game will settle down.
Here's Nico Rittmeyer, the College of Charleston product. A real fan favourite here in Charleston. Yeah,
I'd just like to see him do a little bit more. In the final third, he's a great weapon for the Battery if he can get into the game. And as I said, if he does get into it, that's because he's a crowd favourite. He's very good at taking players on. I think he's just took a couple of easy options in the first half, and as I said, Woodbine's got beyond him more times, which I'm sure is a good ploy, but it's not the only ploy that you should be looking to put in place.
Monsalve with his first start of the season, like we mentioned, just the lone appearance last season. Had a pretty sturdy game so far. We'll just have a break in the play here down below us.
And I was going to say, Howarth has sort of really played out on this left-hand side in the first half, and he's got great delivery with his right foot. He cuts in very well, and that very much involved in the goal with Oliveira, which it really was a tidy finish. I mean, it was a great little 1-2 on the edge of the box and caught the Battery right out. So, they'll be very pleased with that, and that's good signs for their, going forward play.
And of course, Oliveira, the goal scorer, he led Ottawa in shots created last season. Started 31 of the 32 matches he appeared in. He joins the trio up top tonight for the visitors. And like you said, Derek, interesting formations, a lot of congestion in the midfield tonight with the way these two teams have come out. Yeah, both teams have got 3 in there and sometimes 4. And in how they match each other up, if you notice, all the success has come down the sides. It hasn't come really down through the middle. It's because it is very congested. I mean, the Battery do have the other outlet of playing it longer into a big, tall striker. Oliveira's not as tall and robust, but he's certainly more mobile. So it's 2 different styles, but both teams pack a very, big midfield. And you can see why both teams don't concede a lot of goals, because, they've got a big bank of 4 at the back and then a second line of midfield players. So, I don't think this game is ever going to be a 5-4 or, 6-3 or anything like that. But I'm sure now that, the Battery are going to have to come out a little bit more, and you'll see a lot more from the Fury just tucking in there and being more disciplined in how they defend. Both teams ranked very highly in clean sheets last season, finishing with 15 on the year.
Sponson was very lucky there. He never pulled a hamstring. He sort of lost his foot in there and was at full stretch.
Muller for Woodbine, picked out by Obasi. Woodbine still in the mix. Wall fall brings Ottawa out. Oliveira looking to lead on. Carl Howarth. Rittmeyer there does just enough to stop him in his tracks.
Yeah, Woodbine had made a great forward run. Rittmeyer does that, but as I said, I think we'd like that reverse. We'd like Rittmeyer going forward a lot more and O'Brien just tucking in and doing his defensive responsibilities.
Sponson, the man up top tonight for Mike Anhauser, gives away a free kick. And of course for Mike Anhauser, missing his leading goal scorer from last season for tonight, Atula Guerra.
Yeah. I mean, as I said, both teams, as I said, 4 or 5 games in, they'll start to find a settled squad, and I'm sure we'll see some substitutions tonight, just to get other people in, trying to win games and give other people a chance. So,
good read from the Jamaican veteran O'Brien Woodbine, who keeps the pressure going and wins a throw for the Battery. There you can see the fans just below us packed out here at MUSC Health Stadium. A fantastic atmosphere.
No, it's really good. As I said, that we said it earlier on about everything's possible, and even for the fans, everything's possible. This could be a good throw here because Woodbine's got a really good throw. They've got a big target player, and if they can get someone running off the back of Swanson, this is a very difficult and promising thing for the Battery.
Here comes the delivery. It looked like it almost slipped out of his hand. Howarth across to Francois, who runs into trouble in the midfield. The referee waving play on from that collision with Anunga.
That could have been a sore one, that one.
Anunga now on the ball. The Cameroonian, a real mainstay in the middle of the park. Woodbine for Sponson. Just trying a bit of trickery at the back. Couldn't quite keep it in.
That's the second time he's tried to do that. I think he's just so much better at just securing it in and getting people to run while they're facing him up rather than trying to turn them. I mean, he's quick for a big boy, but he does much better just bringing other people into the game. And very, very well defended there, wasn't it? It was great defending. I think it was Gigaya there who done really, really well.
Comes into his second season with the Battery. Prior to that was with Tulsa Roughnecks, where he was the leading goal scorer with 11 goals in 30 appearances. The UAB product is looking for a stellar year this year. And like we mentioned, already off to a great start with Carolina Challenge Cup, scoring a goal in each of the opening 2 matches.
Yeah, and there's a situation there where Patterson was way too high, wasn't he? And Kazminski's trying to play that ball out, and he's way too high there, so he's got to come back and give him away a throw in a bad situation.
Dixon getting up into the attack, but opts to go back to Ward. Atakora at the back. The pressure is coming from Mike Anhauser's side. Here's Pigo forcing the long high ball from Monsalvi.
Monsalvi, he looks comfortable, didn't he? He had that little one scare in the first half where he sort of sliced it out, but you have to say that since then everything he's done, he's been solid. He's kicked a good distance, he's kicked it into wide areas, and he's maintained possession for his team, so that's good signs for them.
Oliveira looking to flick on for Howarth. It comes back at the other end now. Very back and forth direct play at the minute.
Monsalvi's got big shoes to fill, isn't he? So, it's important for him tonight that he comes out and has a real steady game so he can cement his place in this team.
Of course, Crapo, the starting goalkeeper from last year with Vancouver Whitecaps, now the MLS. And Ian Sponson furious below us. Mike Anhauser up off the bench. And it looks like we might see the first yellow card of tonight.
And I think that's correct. I don't know why players are moaning when you tackle from behind. I mean, and it is cynical, isn't it? I mean, Swanson was away. I mean, again, good refereeing. I mean, he's not rushing in. He's not high maintenance. He's not trying to, rile the crowd up. He just goes in, goes about his business. He's come out with the right decision. He's given the card, and now we can get on with the game.
Obasi in the books. First player to get a yellow card tonight for his challenge on Swanson. But here comes a set-piece opportunity for Mike Anhauser's side. Vincenzo Candela over the dead ball. Again, Ottawa with everybody back in to help defend. The Battery flooding numbers into the box. It's a good delivery. Finds its way out wide to Francois, who clears to safety.
It was a good delivery, but it needed more on it. It needed to really put them under pressure now. I think after that last throw, I think this one we'll see go straight into Swanson's head, and then let's see how well. I think they've got Will Forwards. You know, he's going to try and screen Swanson, so that's going to be a big battle. They're both big boys, so that, you know, you can see they've worked on it.
Away at the near post. He gets another go at it, this time to the top of the box. Some loose touches, and Howarth out wide for Dixon.
Howarth is really is nice and neat and tidy, isn't he? Wherever he plays on the field, he just gets the ball in. He very rarely gives the ball away, and certainly retains the ball for his team. There's a little switch there. I think Howarth has gone out onto the right now, and Francois has come over here to the left. So they're trying to, which is not uncommon in, you know, for wingers to swap over for a little bit, see if they can get a bit more success.
Muller looking for the direct ball forward to Sponson. It was a good ball. Salvi off his line, no problem for him at the back.
It was a great starting position for him. The ball was a little bit straight, a little bit more of an angle on that. I think it could have caused him more problems, but when it comes into the box, he can just comfortably use his hands.
Here he is again on the ball. Taylor Muller, Mike Anhauser's captain, ranks 4th in all-time appearances, just below Dusty Hudock and John Wilson and Paul Conway. Dusty Hudock and John Wilson on the bench below us with Mike Anhauser as his assistant coaches. And here comes Woodbine again. Can he deliver a long throw, or will he opt for the short ball? Goes back this time to Muller, who enters his 8th season with the Battery. Started every single game last season but one. Will be looking to be a real mainstay again this season for the black and yellow. Bolt goes up to the newcomer AJ Patterson, who taps one into the box and over the bar from Rittmeyer's deflection.
Yeah, it was a great run in. As I said, I think he's got ahead of Swanson there, isn't he? Nico Rittmeyer. Great run by Patterson. You see, that's going to be a feature of the Battery this year, where these fullbacks are Brian Woodbine, Patterson, getting in behind and then putting balls in the box. And it was a bit of a delayed run. Good header, you know, good position, but just couldn't keep it down and get it on target.
Nikola Popovic below, just dishing his orders to the trio up top. A loose touch from Walfall. Woodbine trying to get some momentum going for the Battery. Anunga. Back for Muller. Up to the forward. Sponson comes in, trying to get one for Higashi. Charlie Ward.
Ward's a little bit of an unsung hero in that midfield, isn't he? I mean, we haven't talked about him too much tonight, but if you notice, he's always available to get on the ball. He's a neat and tidy passer. He just links the game up for him. He screens the back four. He does a lot of work in there, and certainly is very, very good at just, keeping possession for his team and not giving it away. So.
You're absolutely right. In his first season in the league, he led the USL in minutes played. Has over 4,000 minutes of league play since 2016. Woodbine. Bassi returns the header ball. This could really be a chance for Howarth. Takes a touch inside, looking to set himself up. And it's Patterson that forces the corner.
And that's that change of play we spoke about earlier. Howarth's gone out there, isn't he? He's gone in it, and there he's just shifted it onto his stronger foot, but well read by Patterson. Good defending. He was out of position. He got back in. He used his speed and athleticism, and then, he's won himself a corner, Howarth, there. But again, great play there.
It's going to be the captain, Carl Howarth, with the delivery. This time the out swinger from the far side. And let's see what he can do with this one away at the near post. Anunga heads over. The danger isn't over. Ward picks up the second ball. Back to Muller Giguère. Charlie Ward looking to find feet. It's Francois. Oliveira now, and that's a fantastic challenge out the back from Woodbine.
think he was even trying to get his goal kick there, wasn't he? He's sort of gone in. He's fully committed when he goes into tackle, but he was trying to do is just take a little nick off the. I think it was it Francois there, just trying to get him so he could get a goal kick.
Another look at that challenge. Kevin Oliveira looking to work one into the box, denied by Woodbine. But here comes the second corner kick. This time the in-swinger from Howarth. To the back post, it's a good ball picked out the air by Kuzminski. No worries for the Battery.
And one of the disappointing things so far, and we'll give them the credit now because it's the first game of the season, but the set pieces haven't been great. You know, the deliveries have just been that little bit short. And I know it takes time and it comes, but, you know, with a little bit better delivery, there could have been a couple more opportunities now for these, but for both teams, really.
Candela loops one at the top of the box. Pigo is battling. The referee has already blown his whistle, though.
That's very frustrating because you've got your defender, he's facing away from goal. You don't need to tackle. I think he's just got too close there. You know, I'm sure Anhauser will be really disappointed with that because he knows he had him in a good position. I think we're getting to that point now where it's the coaches, you know, in most games it happens, but certainly more in these games where you're trying to think, right, what can we do to change it? And it's the Battery that really do need to have a change here. They need to get back into the game and try and create a few more opportunities. At the two coaches, certainly Popovic will be more happier with the situation, the start to the second half. There really hasn't been a clear-cut chance either end, and that will suit Ottawa more than that will suit the home team.
The Battery only lost 6 games last season. A real fantastic year for them, especially at home. They always perform well on home soil. They'll be desperate to find that response tonight. Woodbine keeps the possession. It's Candela into Pigo.
And the longer the game goes on, Ottawa will just drop in that little bit tighter and a little bit deeper just to try and condense the space in behind. That's a great ball in there by Patterson again. And there's Ward again just tidying up. And again, look, he very rarely gives the ball away, even under severe pressure.
Nunga on Oliveira. The referee just having a word with Tar Brian Nunga in the middle of the park. It looks like it's going to be a yellow card. Let's have another look at this.
And again, it's just simple. He's just gone in. He's been beaten by skill there. It's a dangerous tackle. He's just caught him on the back of the heel. And again, I think the referee's got it right. And, you know, it's nice to be able to talk in a very positive way about referees. This guy tonight has done fantastically well. He's been very close to the play. He's made some good decisions. He's not been very erratic. And he's really, you know, kept this game under control, because sometimes these games are as feisty as they can be at the end of a season. So, you know, he's managed the enthusiasm of all the players very, very well.
Sergei Jimonchuk, the man in the middle for tonight's match.
I'm glad you said that.
Some tricky pronunciations tonight.
I'll call him the ref.
Monsalvi. Out the back, Patterson with the pressure. Here's Candela looking for space. That space is with Bolt. All the way home to Kuzminski.
Other than a couple of routine real crosses, Kuzminski hasn't really been challenged, has he? You know, he was unlucky with a goal. He didn't have a chance, but his distribution's been something that's been tested tonight.
Woodbine with the pressure on Wolfold. Too much. This is going to be a free kick for the visitors. Fans Select is the official ball supplier of the USL Championship and many of the finest leagues in the world. Since 1947, Select has been the leader in soccer ball quality and innovation. For the latest Select products and special offers, please visit selectsportsamerica.com.
And that was a great effort there by Francois when he just found a little bit of space outside the box, and he looked up, saw Kuzminski a little bit off his line and took a real pop from there. It was very close. I think it was a lot closer than we thought from here. So a real good chance, and a little reminder there to the Battery that, you know, they've got to make sure they keep their focus when they haven't got the ball in defence.
Here's Higashi. Sponson at the top of the box. Can he work it through to Ripmai? Takes the strike. And patted away, that wasn't far off either. Here's Francois. He's got the trio up top with him, battling one-on-one with Bolt, beats him into the box. The strike is on, away by Kuzminski and Patterson to bring the Battery to safety.
And that's what I'd like to have seen more of Francois in the first half. You know, he got a one-on-one situation there. He was a lot more positive there when he was prepared to take on Jay Bolt. And as he's done that, he's forced a good save out of Kuzminski. But in the last couple of minutes there, we've had a chance at either end. You know, Ian Sponson, don't take nothing away from him. He sort of seized up. He's in good goal-scoring form. And now we've got a little stoppage here that I think Nico Rittmeyer's complaining of a little bit of a stray arm, but as I said, I don't think there was anything too deliberate there. Again, good refereeing.
Woodbine, Howarth with the pressure, forcing the Battery back.
And Howarth and Francois just chopping and changing, aren't they? One's on the left, one's on the right. They're just trying to, and leaving Oliveira down the middle and just trying to make it a little bit difficult for the Battery players. So a good little tactic. You know, Howarth's had a good chance there, and then Francois had a good chance as well. So just making them think.
Here we go for Inunga. Warfall can't take it off the Cameroonian's feet. A good ball through into the box. It's Higashi, takes the strike, and there's the tap in. It's Ian Sponson. Ian Sponson levels the scoring here in Charleston, and it has to be the lone striker.
It's a great finish, but that all come from Inunga there, didn't it? I mean, he'll never get an easier goal than that, Swanson. A great little run by Higashi, and he's done it a couple of times today, but that really come from Inunga, getting hold of it in midfield, driving at the back four, got into a good position. He out-hustled Warfall, didn't he? And then he got it through, and then Higashi said all he's doing is hitting the target. Goalkeeper's very unfortunate there, and it's fallen, but great reaction play. I work with a lot of young players, and we all talk about following up, and there's Swanson getting his reward for just a little follow-up play. He's done a lot of good work tonight, but you know, he'll get marked on goals, and that's a nice little goal for him. So now it really makes the game worth playing now.
Well, if you caught the match, the last game of the season in Ottawa between the Battery and Ottawa, it was Ian Swanson with a very similar tap-in. But you know what? Every goal counts.
It was great positioning. It really was good positioning. And he's got confidence right now. I mean, that's his third goal this season. You know, 2 in the Carolina Championship, as we spoke about before. And, you know, you've got to be there to score goals. There's other players that wouldn't have got into that position. But, you know, and again, Higashi done very, very well. All he done was he got his head down, he drilled it in, he hit the target. Goalkeeper was a little bit unfortunate that he didn't parry it away too far. But as I said, you know, young players, you teach them to follow up all the time and you'll get your rewards.
Well, things are all square here now in Charleston, South Carolina, in the opening match of the USL Championship season. Now things are really starting to open up. Here comes the long ball from Woodbine.
And I don't know if people realise, but Mike Anhauser was going to make a substitution just prior to that goal, and as soon as the ball went in, he decided to change it. So you're thinking, was it Swanson coming off? Was it, you know, was it a change of tactic? And you know, with that goal now, it changed the substitution completely. You know, if you're, I'm not even sure who it was coming on, but you know, now you've got to refocus yourself and get back into it.
Higashi, a fantastic touch, almost set himself up for success. Monsalvi read well.
And that's what he does very well. He did it for the goal, didn't he? Just dropped his shoulder, let the ball run across him and got in, and he tried the same move again, was just a little bit unfortunate. It ran away from him.
Woodbine and Howarth.
That's been a real good battle, that, hasn't it? You know, 2 senior players really playing out, and you know, right now it's probably even Stevens.
Here comes Rittmeyer. Takes his space.
The Battery have taken a leaf out of Ottawa's book by switching. So Pigot and Rittmeyer now swap sides. And let's see if they get a little bit of success by doing that as well.
Here's Pigot. Out wide to Patterson. Into Rittmeyer. Takes a touch across the park. Pigot again. This time it's Higashi. Can Sponson get connection on the ball? That was very close.
Yeah.
But it looks like it's actually going to go the other way.
Yeah. I think Swanson's there's been punished for being big there because he didn't want to lift his foot up. He knew that would have been a free kick. But what this change now from the Battery's done with Pigot coming over and Rittmeyer going over to the left, it's now allowed Nico Rittmeyer to come in onto his right side and find those little threaded passes, and Pigot can just go on the outside and get his crosses in. So it's a little tactical change, and now we have a substitution now for Ottawa Fury.
Looks like it's going to be Chris Muller to make his way off, and on comes Tiago De Freitas. The first substitution of the night. Chris Muller had a good night in the midfield tonight.
Yeah, no, as I said, it's a very congested area. I think all the midfield players have done well. You know, I think we've spoken about every single one of them on the broadcast. You know, they've all done their own little bits, and as I said, you know, that's always going to be a congested area of the field tonight.
Tiago into the middle of the park. The Brazilian signed just this year in February. Has experience playing all over the globe. Let's see what he can contribute tonight. Ward.
It's not a great game to come into for a midfield player because it's been so congested, and, you know, let's see if we can have something to talk about. He's got to very quickly get to the pace of the game.
Looked like a nasty challenge. Bolt up and okay, as is Francois. Oliveira actually down there.
Yeah, it was Oliveira, yeah. I think it was just, again, it was just a collision of coming together. Good refereeing yet again. So here it is here. Look, I think it's just two committed players going at the ball and they've just collided. So, again, good decision by the referee.
Pressure from Sponson up top. Forces a long ball out the back. Bolt heads to safety. Here comes Dixon.
And now with 20 minutes to go, you know, it's all to play for both teams. And, you know, you could get to that point in the game where, you know, neither team wants to lose their first game. You know, I think that comes much, much later, and certainly not for the Battery being with this big home crowd against them. But, you know, Ottawa now will be really thinking, they've done very well. They've had some very good moments tonight. And, you know, they've been very well organised. They've kept the ball well. They'll want to keep that going all the way through to the end. But, again, we've spoke about the first game of the season. You know, players will get tired tonight. There will be substitutions, and substitutions can definitely change games.
Rittmeyer picked out the air by Atakora. Anybody's ball in the middle of the park at the minute.
Here's Rittmeyer now. Look, as I said, this is where he can cut in and he can try and pick a pass out. Bit of a loose one there by him, but coming in off that side, he's definitely can be as effective as he's coming from the other side. But here's a breakaway.
Could this be a chance for a counter-attack? Francois on the far side beats Jay Bolt into the box. Muller comes across, he takes a strike, and Joe Kuzminski, very, very good goalkeeping.
Yeah, not great defending there by Jay Bolt. He's thrown in and committed himself. Maybe he knew he had Taylor Muller behind him, but not great defending there. And as I said, you know, Francois has been a lot more positive in this second half, and I think he had options like that in the first half and he didn't really take them, but he certainly has in this second half.
Match very back and forth at the minute. Both coaches up off the bench below us. Meckenhauser just sitting down, dishing their orders to their respective sides. Here's Warfall.
He just looks like a little bit leggy now, doesn't he? He's now just he's covered a lot of ground tonight. He's just starting to look a little bit more tired. He's gone into that holding role. So I'm wondering, you know, again, midfield players, they cover a lot of ground, and the opening games, it takes them probably more than anyone, just a little bit more, a few games just to get back into it.
Tiago, the cog in the middle of the park now. Assessing his options, just trying to keep the ball for the visitors. And it looks like we are going to see a substitution at the next break in play for Meckenhauser's side. Looks like it's going to be the new signee, Arthur Boschua, to come on. And maybe it will be the end of Ian Sponson's night tonight. We will wait and see.
If it is for Sponson, it will just be a straight swap, won't it? A big man for a big man, so no change in the system.
Oliveira Good recovery by AJ Patterson. That was an awkward one out the back. Luckily, Taylor Muller able to recover.
He stumbled a bit as well there, but sometimes you earn your luck there.
Anunga into Higashi, good control. Woodbine now on the flank. Can he feed one through into the attack? He's looking for Sponson, who leaves it off for Romario. Just a second late to the party.
Yeah, you were seeing what Swanson was trying to do. He was just trying to flick that ball on there when he just didn't get enough purchase on it, but you could see definitely what he was trying to do there.
And here comes the substitution that we mentioned before the goal was scored. And it is going to be Arthur Boshua to make his way on, and it's Kotaro Higashi to come off. Higashi had a fantastic game tonight.
Oh, he very much so had a big input into the goal, and he, as I said, he's done very, very well linking up the game. He started the game off incredibly well, and that's probably one. Again, he covers a lot of ground and he puts a lot of effort into the game. And now we've got two big players up front now for the Battery, and maybe that will just change their direction a little bit.
Here comes Romario Pigo into the box. The referee is right there, doesn't give the penalty. It's a bit of mayhem there. And looks like Arthur Boshua trying to get his first touches on the ball at the hands of Monsalvi. Things really heating up now as we approach the final 15 minutes of tonight's match. Francois. Back to Warfel, who combines with Oliveira and Ward. Oliveira still well read by O'Brien Woodbine. Here's Sponson. Pressure on Mier Giguère at the back.
And again, the referee's given a free kick there. I'm not so sure that was a free kick. We'll get another chance to look at that now. Again, it was, he's just stuck his leg in now.
And this is a big moment for the Battery fans. It's Dante Marini who's going to make his way in for Nico Rittmeyer. And I'm sure, as you can hear below, Dante Marini makes his first return for the Black and Yellow after missing the 2018 season with a knee injury, but returns to the Battery for his 6th season this year. Made 17 appearances over those years.
He's a tidy little player, isn't he? It's great to see him come back into the fold as well. You know, we've seen him work so hard on his recovery. You know, I've been very fortunate to have some time with him. I took him to Dallas last year to keep involved when we started the youth program, and he's a great lad. And just to see him back out on the field, you know, is very, very pleasing.
Fantastic, agile player. Let's see what he can do tonight. Here's his fellow substitute, Arthur Boshua, who signs his first professional contract out of college from Columbia University. He was the Ivy League 2-time Offensive Player of the Year. And you can hear the applause for Marini on the far side. Great to have him back in Mike Hanhauser's team. Yeah,
and Boshua was a big, strong boy. You know, I was very fortunate. You know, when the tryouts were done here, I actually got to see him firsthand. He was on the squad I was looking after for a bit, and he's a big lad, but he can play. You know, he's not just a big boy. He's a bit like Sponson. He's good on the floor. He's got good pace. You know, he wants to score goals, and he doesn't always have to play as a top striker. He can play just in behind someone. And you'll see he's got good technique, and he's definitely a finisher given a chance. He's certainly different to Higashi. You know, he's not going to drop into them pockets, turn and roll people.
Here comes another substitute. It's this time for Ottawa. Looks like it's Garno Lapare to make his way in. Let's see who that substitution is for. Two players jogging off the pitch. We're not sure which one is coming over. Looks like Oliveira's just taking on board some fluid, and it's going to be Jamar Dixon to make his way off. It's actually Garno Lapare's birthday today. The Canadian international signed in July of last year and really made his presence felt in the team despite joining midway through the season, featuring in 11 matches. A very good defender as he is attacker. See how he adjusts into the midfield right now. It's going to be a free kick for the visitors.
And right now, we've had 4 substitutions in the last couple of minutes, and it normally, when you do that, it's, any stage of the season, it just disrupts the tempo of the game and so on. So it'll just take a little bit of a minute just to get everyone in. That was Thiago just getting a welcome to the game there. He just got a little bit of a late challenge. And you can see there's an urgency to the Battery players. They can smell blood in the water now. They've got back on level terms. They've got a big crowd here. They want to send them home with a victory. And they'll need all their experience now. Ottawa now just to stay in this game and pick their moments to when they can go ahead and see if they get opportunities to go ahead and win the game.
Pigo cuts into the midfield, finds Candela, out wide to Marini. Marini takes his space. There's numbers in the box. Can he find one of them? It's Sponson. He couldn't quite redirect that.
Yeah, it's a great little intelligent ball by Marini, wasn't it? He's just trying to slide it in front of him, and he's just trying to get a little bit of a purchase on it, but it wasn't quite there. He got a little bit ahead of the ball, I think, Swanson, but again, good play by the Battery. As this is going to be an interesting last sort of 10, 12 minutes with extra time, because now what's going to happen is you're going to see how much Ottawa want to go for the win. I'm sure the Battery with this crowd are going to go after it. And as I said, I think both coaches now have 2 different mindsets. If you're Popovich, you go away with a draw, you'll be happy with that. If you're Mike Anhauser, you want to see if you can strive for a win. So 2 completely different views on the same game, which is fantastic.
We said the Battery have a fantastic home record, only losing 2 matches at home last season. Let's keep that going tonight. Romario Pigo with the pressure. Thiago takes his space. Charlie Ward just always there for that combination play, like you mentioned, Derek.
He pulls all the strings in midfield, doesn't he? He just gets it, gives it. He's always available. He's not looking for the killer pass all the time, but he definitely links the game up, and a bit of an unsung hero.
Abassi loses his footing, but makes it through. Ottawa just keeping the possession, looking comfortable. Well read by Anunga.
I think Coach Anhauser wanted him to go out the other way there, which was probably a good shout, because it was very congested on this side of the field.
About 9 minutes of regulation left to play here in South Carolina. It's Poppy Miller alongside Derek Broadley. Thank you for joining us wherever you are, and a welcome to anyone joining us in Ottawa tonight. The Senate Tavern watch party especially. It's going to be a free kick for the Battery.
And it's great, isn't it, that we've got people here looking at a game. A little bit of silliness here going on.
See Taylor Muller very unhappy there. Let's have another look at this, Derek. Just out of our camera lens, it makes you wonder if it's what happened after the ball was played. Yeah,
maybe a little stray foot or something. But again, Taylor Muller should know better. Nothing's going to be sold by shouting and bowling. It
was a very heavy challenge on Anunga. It is going to be a free kick for the Battery. You can see the Battery fans loving that football is back here in Charleston. A busy night tonight, especially below us out of your camera angle. And with the summer months fast approaching, just beautiful temperatures out there tonight. Yeah, now this is great soccer weather right now tonight. And I think, the crowd will be very pleased what they've seen. They've seen a couple of goals. They've seen a really all-action-packed game. It's full of commitment. And as I said, hopefully there's still a winner. The home fans will be looking for a home winner, but any winner now for either team is going to make the trip really worthwhile or make the home game a success. Anunga to take the free kick. Straight out the back from Ottawa. Wall fall in the middle. Candela will bring it down. He's looking for Patterson to get him, join him in the attack, and here he comes. This time into Marini. Can Marini find the pass back? He can, but couldn't connect with the yellow shirt. Woodbine to the top of the box. Pigot's there. Here's Sponson. Almost looked like a tug of the jersey. What did you think of that, Derek?
It was a bit hard from here, but as I said, now there's a breakaway, so we'll talk about that one in a minute.
Bolt with the pressure on Francois. Oliveira coming in at the back post. Kuzminski to get a touch on it and do just enough to bring the Battery to safety for now.
It was better defending by Jay Bolt there. He didn't dive in, then he forced the save. It was a good save as well, but it was a good shot from a tight angle. But yeah, the last, I mean, Candela done fantastically well winning the ball and keeping possession for the ball. And you know, Swanson's a big guy. Sometimes he'll get 50% of those and he'll lose out on 50% of those. That's just the way it is. And normally you can tell by the players' reactions if they were pulled or not, and he certainly felt like he was.
The game really opening up now as we come into the last 6 minutes. Candela finding a path through the midfield. Leading on Sponson. It's a heavy touch from the striker.
Yeah, it took a little deflection, to be fair to him. It's not like it was rolled through. It sort of took a deflection and he'd done it. So now I think you might get to the stage of the game where Ottawa now will take the point. Be interesting now who they're bringing them, making them make their final sub. But you know, I'm sure they'll be happy with the point. They'll see that as a very, very credible result against one of the top teams in the division. The Battery, you can see, just because of the crowd, are definitely still going for the win.
Here you go. Back to Anunga. Woodbine again opts with a long ball forward. Monsalvi way off his line. Picks it up.
Yeah, just a little bit too straight. If that ball stays outside the box, players chase it. But when it goes into the goalkeeping area, the advanced position, especially he's had all night, Monsalvi, he's you know, he's done very well at sweeping up around there.
Ward in the midfield.
There he goes again. Then he just getting it, giving it, linking the game up, passing it in, keeping possession for his team.
Lapare out at the back. Atakora crossed to Meyer Jaguar. Here's Anunga. The turnover in the midfield. Tarbran Anunga trying to pick his pass. He's going to the top of the box. The strike is on. And Romario Pigot connects with the second ball, but that one will be offside.
Swanson done really well. He peeled off to the back post there, then he took it on his chest, just didn't come down quick enough for him. Sort of spun off to Pigot, and he was in an offside position.
Well, that will be the end of Wall Falls night, and on comes Dakota Barnathan for the final couple minutes of tonight's match. And there's a substitution for Mike Anhauser as well. Angelo Kelly will come on and replace Ian Sponson.
So that's it. He'll just move him up front, and Kelly will just go into an advanced midfield position here.
Angelo Kelly enters his second season with the Charleston Battery. A great combination player in the midfield, especially with Anunga. See if he can provide some service to Boshua up front.
And Will Fall, to be fair, you have to give him credit. I mean, I said a couple of minutes ago he looked really tired, but he covered every blade of grass. He worked hard, and you know, fully deserves his rest.
Another newcomer comes in the match. Let's have a look at this replay, Derek.
Yeah, again, it's not one of them situations where a player just gets in front. You know, whether it's speed, skill, and it's a little bit of a lazy challenge. Again, the referee's done fantastically well. It's the correct decision, and it's a very very exciting position now for Ottawa. You know, very dangerous for the Battery, and it'll be interesting to see now how they defend. As I said, Kuzminski's really organising his back four now, and you know, they'll certainly won't want to concede from a set piece at this stage of the game.
Kevin Oliveira, the man over the dead ball in the late going, as we are into the 88th minute. Oliveira, the goal scorer from tonight, whips one into the box. Kuzminski keeps a hold of it. Kuzminski just giving his team a chance to get up Opts for the short ball out the back. Here's Anunga. For Muller, who goes all the way home.
And you have to give the Battery credit, didn't they? They went a goal down early. They haven't stopped knocking at the door all the way through the game. I think they thoroughly deserved the draw if it ends up being that. But, they've certainly managed well. But here we go.
It could be a chance for the newcomer. It's Arthur Bosch, but was he taken down in the box? The referee is waving play on, and it's going to be a corner kick for the black and yellow.
He just didn't have the pace to get away there. I don't think it was a fact. He didn't appeal for a penalty, did he? He realised it was a challenge, a very honest decision there. And now this does give the Battery a chance. And any goal now you'd think would probably be the match winner at this stage of the game.
Vincenzo Candela trots across once again to take it. Everybody is up off their seats below us. Mike Anhauser up off his bench below, as well as Popovic. And this really would be a fairy tale ending for the Charleston Battery in their home opener. Candela just brushing away O'Brien Woodbine's short option. Here comes the delivery. It's a good one to the back post. Angelo Kelly's there. But the referee has given a free kick to Ottawa from a push in the box.
And I think you see he's had his eye on it all night, isn't he? He's just picked his moment, the referee there, to give a free kick. And as I said, it was a ball that got in. It was a great delivery to the back post. Angelo Kelly has got himself free. And we've got 3 minutes to go for the 3 minutes of added time. So there's still time for a winner either way. And I think now we're definitely at that stage now where Ottawa would take the draw. And the Battery, as I said, they're going to be the ones pushing this last, trying to get this big crowd something to go home with.
I'm sure everybody here and watching's on their edge of their seat. You can't help but feel like there's another goal in this match.
The way the game's gone, you have to give it to both coaches. They've made good substitutions, kept the teams in it.
Angelo Kelly really showing his agility down the flank. He's still going as he brings it into the corner. Sensible play from Angelo Kelly, who wins the throw.
And that was just good energy, wasn't it? He's a new player. He's not long on the field. He's just outrun the Ottawa team there.
I think everybody here at the stadium thinks that was a corner. It's going to be a throw-in right down by the corner flag. And here comes the lofty ball in from AJ Patterson. Away by Atakora, but picked up by Nunga at the top of the box. Candela floats one in to the back post. Woodbine almost loses his footing there.
And now he does have a long throw, so this will be like a corner.
You can see everybody dropping back in the box. There's the nod from O'Brien Woodbine. He'll pick up a dry ball from one of the ball boys down below. And the Battery fans are right there, willing him on in the corner. A good delivery into the box. The flick-on's there. Romario Pigo is at the back. Nothing to come of it this time. Woodbine to recycle. This time a flick in, forces the header. And now, did that go out for a corner? Looks like it'll be another throw-in, Derek.
Yeah, no, and as I said, sometimes with these long throws you can have too many players around the ball. As I said, sometimes you just want to isolate your big man and see if you can just get a flick on, but sometimes when you walk in there, you just attract more defenders.
Taylor Muller back to Woodbine, looks to whip one into the back post. Almost overcooked it, Monsalvi punches away. Francois with the pressure. That looked like it almost took a deflection. It's going to be a goal kick.
So all in all, we're coming right to the end of this game, and you have to say that if you're both coaches, you'll both take lots and lots of positives away from this game, because if you're Mike Anhauser, your team's gone down, your team's got character, you've come back in, you've knocked on the door, you possibly could have had a winner with the offside goal in the first half. If you're Popovic, you're saying now that his team's hung in there, done well, and so both coaches now will be happy. There'll be plenty of things to work on going forward, and this big crowd, has not seen their team lose. So
Well, it was Kevin Oliveira to open the scoring for Ottawa in the 5th minute. Ian Sponson levelled it up and very back and forth in the late going. Let's take a look at some highlights from tonight's match.
So when you go back to the start, it seems such a long time ago now, doesn't it, with the highlights, you know, that they got a very early goal, didn't they, Ottawa? It was Howarth and Oliveira just combining together, and as I said, it was a poor start for the home team, but they clawed their way back into the game. Had a couple of chances in the first half, but second half you have to say they definitely took it to their visitors, and you know, all credit to Ottawa for really staying in the game, keeping their shape. There's been Ward there who's walking off. I thought we had a fantastic game. Ward just linked the game and kept them going. So hopefully we'll get a chance to see some of them highlights before we wrap up.
So each team will take a point from tonight. Both teams had several chances, but for me in this match, something that really stands out is the newcomers and the impact they had on the match. Yeah,
Pigot and Patterson done fantastically well tonight. I'm sure the crowd will be really pleased to see them, and you know, for the Ottawa team, as I said, a point on the road at any stage of the season is a valuable point. And, you know, one person we need to mention, I thought the referee had an outstanding game. You know, it was a high-energy game. He done everything right, made his decisions right. I'm sure the Battery will complain about that penalty, but he seemed very confident in it. And, you know, not too often do we give the referee the credit they're due, but in this case, I thought he had a fantastic game.
There you can see the full-time score. The Charleston Battery won, Ottawa Fury won. Well, next weekend the Charleston Battery will be back at home to take on Hartford Athletic and a new team in the Eastern Conference. That'll be an interesting matchup.
No, that really will be. It's a team that no one's seen before, so again, we'll look for that one. And you know, we don't know what we're going to get. It's a new team, and you know, they'll be playing tonight as well, so they'll be looking into their second game. So here we go with the highlights now. So again, Oliveira and Howarth. Little combination there. He kept them running, Oliveira, and he got his reward, and it's a great finish because Minsky's got no chance with that one. And you know, it was a great start for them, and it gave them something to cling on to for the rest of the game, which they did, and they'll be very happy with that. The Battery, to be fair, was a big kick up for them. They got back in. Here's the one they'll be disappointed with. Again, Pigot just thought he'd got his team back level with a great little tap in, but you know, it wasn't to be. And then this little one here with Higashi, just little chip over again, couldn't quite get his angles right. And that's how we went to half-time. And then in the second half, you know, when the game came out, the Battery certainly knew they had to come out and really go at their opponents, which they did. And they were rewarded right at the end. Here is a great little roll by Higashi, great following up by Sponson, and he'll never get an easier goal. But, you know, he needs that for his confidence, and it's his third goal in 3 games, so he'll be really pleased.
A really fantastic start for Ian Sponson. The Battery knocking at the door until the very final minutes of tonight's match. But in the end, each team will take a point. Well, that just about wraps things up here from Charleston, South Carolina. On behalf of Poppy Miller, Derek Broadley, and the entire broadcast crew, thank you so much for joining us. We'll see you next week.